Welcome back to Creative Excuses and to a new and very much subject to change build video. Today we are covering one of my favorite and maybe one of the coolest new builds I have tested so far with the new subclassing system, the Wild Guardian Nightblade. This build is a sword and shield wielding Nightblade with a little Warden flavor and damage tossed in for some seriously awesome results. Spoiler for the background footage, we scored over 300,000 in Vateshran Hollows, which is incredible. And we had a bunch of fun doing it too, even with the lag which is causing that weird stuttering on that ability. You'll notice it if you notice it, and I'm sorry. I say we though, because clearly you were with me in spirit. Let's jump into it. So here's the thing. I have a lot of gripes with the one hand and shield skill line. I made a whole video talking about important ways that the line should be changed to make it friendlier to solo players especially, and to more thematically minded damage dealers, but none of those changes have happened. But even with all of my problems with it, I absolutely love the aesthetic, so I was committed to trying to make a build work out with the new subclassing system for my already existing sword and shield Nightblade from ages past. In the process, I learned a few things. The idea to start this journey for a good sword and shield build started up again over the past week when I saw a person or two trying out some trial dummy parses with bash builds. I saw some pretty solid parses with damage up into the 140k range on a 2-bar build, which is pretty freaking sick. Those builds relied on actual bash weaving though, which I'm not doing here, but I did notice that Power Slam was pumping out some solid damage, and I wanted to give it a shot. Turns out, and this is what I learned, Power Slam makes a really strong 1-bar spammable, which if you didn't know, is probably the most important aspect of a non-heavy attack 1-bar build. It is very hard to fit enough dots into a 1-bar build to pump out a ton of damage, so your spammable matters a ton. And Power Slam is a fantastic spammable because of this one neat trick. It counts as bash damage, and we have a very good way to increase the power of bashes. We can use bash damage enchants, and these are incredible. They add 500 bash damage each, which can take Power Slam's tooltip as high as a Blast Bone's tooltip, which is just so crazy. Now for parsing, these enchants are all we're really going to do to specifically raise our bash damage. But for Vateshran and in content, it is actually really strong to use a set to add even more. Deadlands Demolisher. Deadlands Demolisher has a few advantages for us over a higher single target damage set like Threads of War. First, it adds another 900 damage to our Power Slam, and second, it adds another 4k damage in a cone on every other slam, giving us some decent AoE potential on our main single target spammable. That is all awesome and helps us clear out the smaller adds in Vateshran really well, which saves us a lot of time. For the entire run, you'll see that scamps are going to die in about 1 light attack and 1 bash, and that is really, really good. The rest of the build then is all about optimizing damage, sustain, and healing. For damage, that means getting up to the penetration cap of 18,200 using the Lover Mundus, Major and Minor Breach, and a one-piece monster set with penetration on it. But how are we getting that Major and Minor Breach? Thanks for asking. We could use Pierce Armor from our weapon skills, but subclassing is just so much better. With the new system coming to the live servers in June, subclassing lets us swap out the mostly useless Shadow skill line from our Nightblade base class for the much more damage-focused Animal Companion skill line from the Warden class, complete with all of its awesome passives and skills. From Animal Companions, we are going to get the powerful Bear ultimate, and of course, the Deep Fissure morph of the Shulks, which grants us a huge 10-second semi-spammable that inflicts both major and minor breach for us, all while dealing incredible damage. I love this skill, and it works so well on this build. Not to mention, both the Bear and Deep Fissure give us great access to the Warden damage passive that boosts our critical damage by 5% each. Awesome. But we still need one more line of penetration to round out our pen stat, and there is one incredible set for the job that's going to boost everything we're doing. This is the new Tideborn crafted set, a direct damage competitor to Deadly Strike. This set boosts our direct damage like our Power Slam, our light attacks, our enchants, our shulks, and even the bear attacks by 12%, all while giving us that extra line of penetration. This set is so good. The rest of our damage then is going to come from our final skill line, which is Assassin from our Nightblade class. The rest of our damage is going to come from our final damage skill line, Assassin, from our Nightblade class. We get a bunch of weapon and spell damage, critical chance, and critical damage from this line thanks to the incredibly powerful Merciless Resolve, which can now stack 2 charges, making it a very good burst heal and passive buff on your bar. If you really want to maximize your damage, you can also use this every time you hit your 10th stack. It's going to add a good bit of damage that way, but in content, it is nice to keep a charge or 2 in your pocket for healing or for burst at the end of a fight. We're also going to use Lotus Fan in most content because the Magicka costing gap closer is nice to have, and the minor vulnerability inflicts is decent even if not actually better than using Fetcher Infection for pure damage. For our sustain, we're going to get quite a bit from Animal Companions passives, which grant us 20% extra Magicka and stamina recovery, as well as healing through both this passive and of course the Strategic Reserve Champion Point node, plus Bear Companion trick that lets you get 1500 health recovery while still getting great damage from your ultimate. The rest of our sustain is going to come from our Nightblade's Siphoning skill line. From Siphoning, we get access to the incredible Siphoning Strikes, which gives us 200 Magicka and stamina every time we deal damage, once per second. On its own, that's the equivalent of 400 of each recovery, which is so good, and is also proof they over-nerfed Dragon Knight sustain. It also gives us about 1200 healing before crits every second at the same time, and if we really need resources, we can activate the ability for a quick burst of Magicka and stamina in exchange for health. All of that is awesome, adding passive healing, Magicka, and stamina sustain. It's like a sustained version of Critical Surge, and I love it. Though it can be a little riskier to use because the healing is so much less, and because we have so few damage over time abilities running. So if, say, you get stunned while fighting a world boss, it can be a little painful. And honestly, that's pretty much the build. For food, we're using our Tam Takeaway Broth for health, stamina, and recoveries for both, adding to our healing and sustain. For our potions, we're using Tri-Stats, which make for a great burst heal and excellent all-around sustain. Finally, here's a summary of everything. We are using 5 pieces of Deadlands Demolisher, 5 pieces of Tideborn, 1 piece of a Penetration Monster set like Krog or Archdruid. We're using double dot damage poisons because one-handed enchants suck for dealing damage on Sword and Board. We're using a Nirntone weapon because you get the full trait value from it, which is also great. And Divines on the rest of the gear with stamina enchants. Our jewelry is 2 bloodthirsty and 1 infused with all bash damage enchants. For our skills, we have Power Slam, Deep Fissure, a Flex Spot, Merciless Resolve, Siphoning Attacks, and our ultimate is Wild Guardian. For that Flex Spot, you're going to see me use both Lotus Fan and Structured Entropy in that slot during this run. Lotus Fan is for utility more than damage, but it can be good to keep up, while Structured Entropy is for a little extra healing in a high damage fight. The highest damage option I found for that slot was Fetcher Infection, however, so if you're running this in a consenting group, keyword there, consenting, make sure your group knows you're doing this weird thing, as a damage dealer, that is a very good option. Oh, and I always forget champion points, so here they are, just for you, before you type that comment. We have Wrathful Strikes, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms, and Fighting Finesse from our blue tree, though that last one might actually be able to be swapped out, not really sure. For the red tree, pretty standard stuff like extra health and armor, bloody renewal, and strategic reserve for the free health recovery. When the patch eventually comes out in June, I'm going to update the description of this video with a link to the official written build, because things might change between here and now. We've got 5 more weeks of PTS. And that is it. The 1-bar Wild Guardian Nightblade hits hard enough for a 300,000 score in Vateshran Hollows. It's very fun to play, and honestly, I could not be happier with it. Any non-heavy attack 1-bar build that can clear 300,000 in Vateshran is a banger build in my book, and this one does it with a shield on. I love it. If you want to see another run of Vateshran where I ramble about the new patch, check out this video over here, or linked at the end of the video after you finish watching the full run. I released it at the same time so that you'll have double the content to watch. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next excuse.
everything goes down. What that magic ability of Hollows? Where does it come from? Wait. Welcome to the Wounded! A plague. You made it all the way to the end. Only one final challenge left. Me? Oh, what? Oh, magic! I feel it tearing me apart.
did not summon such a creature for this challenge. Vateshran's rights now end. You did more than we expected. Well done.